everybody. Hello to all the friendly faces out there who I have not seen in a couple weeks now. It is very good to be back. I hope that Clayton treated you well in my absence. And maybe Amanda. I think she might have joined those as well. So, big thank you to them. It's very late for them, so they won't be joining us today. But I am joined by some other awesome Rangers. GM Dylan, GM Dixie.
Hey Britt, what's up?
I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more energy than that, Dylan. It's a
Sorry,
beautiful day.
I'm in the middle of getting some charts up and ready for you so that I can spout some data nonsense when you come calling.
Okay, acceptable. How about you, Dix? GM, how's it going?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really great.
We've certainly missed you the last couple of weeks. Clayton is, of course, good to steer the ship when you're away, but it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
You should have heard all the bad things he was saying behind your back, Britt. Honestly, I'd be fuming at Clayton. He's been bad mouthing you all the last 3 weeks.
I'm so sure that he had all the worst things to say about me. And that guy, I
know, he just can't trust people, you know.
I can't even talk bad about him. I'm trying to think of shit talking. It's just not working. Cool. Anyways, well, beautiful day. Happy zkSummer, everybody. I think the main highlight of this week is that we're finally doing the Galaxy Quest of our zkSummer campaign. So no more AMAs, but now it's time to go do all the things and ape into all the things. And then if you do, at the end of the quest, there is $500 that we will be raffling away. So we're giving away $100 to 5 winners. And to enter the raffle, you just have to complete. Also means you get a really sweet ZK. I think that thing is so sick. Yeah, it's been a long time in the works, and I'm really. Most people here have kind of already tried it out with mixed success. We're doing some troubleshooting, so bear with us if you're having any problems. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm pumped about this week. How about you, Dix? What's good this week?
So I actually have to admit most of this campaign has kind of gone over my head because I've had my head down in relayer stuff and bot stuff and contracts work and things like that. But it's pretty cool. I actually managed to get my hands dirty and make one contribution to the Galaxy campaign and make one of the credential managers work. But I agree with you that NFT looks really cool, and I love this idea that you can go through and kind of collect different ones and then see what happens at the end. I think that's really cool. So I will be doing this one as well. As for our side, we had also when you were out, we had a pretty turbulent couple of weeks with some of the especially with zkSync, but everything has settled down. Things are working really well. It was kind of nice when we disabled zkSync that people were coming and saying when's it coming back? When's it coming back? Because although you don't like to have people who are dissatisfied or who are unhappy that they can't use it, it's really nice to see that they value across in the space, and that when across was not working for zkSync, that people missed that. So that's kind of bittersweet, I guess. That was nice to see, but zkSync's been back and running, lots of volumes. Dylan can talk about that. But from the engineering side, I'm really happy to report that things have been pretty stable. Things are kind of just working as expected. So that's great. I'm happy on the engineering side. It's nice when your creations are kind of just behaving as you expect that they should. So.
That. I feel like stability is an underrated success. It's not particularly exciting to talk about, but boy, does it feel good when you build something and it just functions without issue.
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting also. Things are kind of so stable, and the only kind of thing that we are noticing these days is that we have a really active relay community who's like they're really aggressively competing to kind of fill people's transfers, which is really interesting to see. It's just cool that we have this community outside of Risk Labs who are kind of helping users to get to their destination. So
A big fan of our Relay community. They've always been pretty close to my heart. And I think like that's one of our biggest probably opportunities for future development that from my perspective, right? I'm very biased because I love the relayers, but I do feel like the relayer model we have now works. It's stable, but I also think that there is lots of room for growth there. It could unfold a lot of different ways, but it'll be really cool to see kind of the future developments that bring in more relayers.
Yeah, definitely agree. And we were actually talking, we had this kind of fortnightly dev support call, and we had that one last night. We're actually talking in there that it's interesting that Across has kind of started out with this relayer design. Across launched originally in November 2021. V2 was launched in like June 2022. And this kind of relayer concept and the role that the relayer is filling has just been there for a long time. And the interesting thing is that other projects seem to be kind of pivoting and course correcting to go in a similar direction. So it's kind of a nice confirmation that I think Across has started out with a nice design. I'm also a relayer bull. So.
It'll be interesting to see kind of if they follow in our footsteps in terms of how they design the system, or like how they think about competition versus collaboration versus I guess auctioning is still kind of a form of competition, but it solves for like some of the problems that our relayers experience in our community.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're basically just at the early stages of what's possible here. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where people like we can steer this in a particular direction, but it's also an open space for other people to come and build on top. And that's actually something that's been really cool the last couple of weeks. There's, I think, potentially like linked up with the zkSync launch and the fact that Across is such an attractive way to get to zkSync and get out of zkSync. People are like building. They want to build on top of Across. We're seeing increased requests in the kind of the developer questions channel about like how do I build on top of Across? What do I need to do? Some of the community have been really great and like stepping in and kind of giving help to people. That's pretty cool to see. And we also have some kind of direct requests from different projects that are saying like, hey, we want to use Across to do our bridging, to and from different chains. So that's actually really cool to see, is that we've been delivering this kind of retail service, which is Across.2. But we've got people who are kind of going like, hey, I don't need to go to the website. Like, I just want to build this directly into my bots, or I just want to build this directly into my contracts and just always go to Across. So that's really nice.
That is cool. What's the like main type of use case of like people who are coming in wanting to build on top of Across? I haven't fielded many of those questions. So
yeah, there's an interesting one. One of the projects is like they've got some kind of farming as a service or something like that. So they were kind of just saying that they need to bridge. Users want to bridge. There was some kind of Telegram bot. Like you can have a Telegram bot that you interact with, give it some funds, and it can do the bridging for you. Like that's like it's kind of a new UX that hasn't existed for Across before. Like previously, if you wanted to bridge with Across, you had to go to the website. Or you had to go to an aggregator's website that would then steer you through Across. But now, like, people can go. There's a Telegram bot that people can go to, and they can just, send an instruction in Telegram to the bot, and it will bridge for them. So I'm personally excited to kind of see like what kind of alternative interfaces people will produce. And we also talked in the dev support call the other day about like MetaMask snaps. So now you can have like plugins in MetaMask, and there's a question like, is someone going to build an Across snap for MetaMask so that people don't even need to go to the website? They can just do it through MetaMask directly. That's interesting, and this kind of composable future is it's exciting.
That's a cool name. I like Snaps as a name for a plugin. I think that's pretty sweet. But I haven't tried that yet. Is it actually live now? Is that something that you've tried?
I haven't tried it, but I did see that, for instance, Tenderly have a plugin. So you can this is something that's people get warned about. Like when you're, and it's like a difficult user experience thing with MetaMask at the moment. Like you go to some DApp and it's like, hey, here's a transaction. Do you confirm it or not? And it's like, even if you're very technical, it's actually pretty difficult to know what the effect of the transaction is, because like a lot of the time they'll just like spit some kind of big long text string out at you, and you just like, I have no idea what this is doing. So what Tenderly have done is that they can like simulate it, and I think they're then like giving the summary like of the outputs as like some kind of more human readable format that says this token gets moved from here to here and these kinds of things. So you can kind of see a little bit more of an understandable, kind of digestible result of the transaction. So again, I haven't personally tried it, but I think that's kind of an example of different things that can be built on top with snaps, which sounds pretty cool. And yeah, I would love to see, like I'm obviously an UMA voter. Like, could there be an UMA voter dApp that gets built into a snap? I don't know. That would be interesting.
Yeah, like the difference there is, are snaps just basically like their version of an app store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a plugin. It's like a plugin for a plugin, which is interesting. Kind of turtles all the way down, but yeah, it's just a way of allowing people, again, like MetaMask. They kind of say like, hey, we deliver this basic functionality. Then other people can come and like they can adapt it and they can build on top of it and do interesting things that kind of augment or complement the functionality of MetaMask. So
yeah, cool. I wonder what kind of gatekeeping they do, or if they're like actually dipping their toes into the like do your own research realm. If this is like a risk mitigation thing for them, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool, and it is a challenge. Like Google have battled with this, Apple have battled with this. Anyone who's ever like had a plugin like Firefox have battled with this, because like obviously people can submit a fraudulent plugin that tries to do something, or like claims to do one thing and in fact does something else. And people should also consider like what kind of data harvesting could be happening through these services as well. Like if you're installing some Snap plugin, it's like, is this thing like secretly collecting information about your addresses and what your on-chain activity is? That's potentially a possibility. But yeah, I guess you need to go into this with your eyes open and understand the risks and but maybe have a look at it and see what's interesting. So
cool. Thanks for the update, Dex. That was cool.
I think if I could just jump in also, we've seen a lot of questions about referral rewards. There's like, obviously you've seen these, Clayton's been fielding some questions. We've seen a few tickets in dev support about like people saying like, hey, my referral rewards are not there. Like, what's happening? Is it still running? The answer is yes. There's a bit of a backlog of processing and kind of aggregating all of the data for the referral rewards. So it is coming. It's a bit delayed this month, so we're sorry about that. But I guess we will give an update when the rewards are claimable, and people should be able to claim their full amount as they normally do. So just a little announcement about that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I was unaware of that, so good to know. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Dixie. I'm going to bounce the ball over to that empty square right in between Dylan and Chase and see who gets it first. Ready, set, go.
Boom.
Boom. Nice.
Yep, that good. So yeah, some cool kind of stuff happening on the data side over the last little while. I might actually even throw in some pictures into the chat because, like, as you know, we've added in a few new chains recently, and that's had a really notable effect on our market share. So like, we're actually doing pretty darn well now, and a big contributing factor to that is enabling zkSync. So you can see, like, of the 26-ish% market share that we currently hold, and like that's for across tokens and routes that we support. zkSync is accounting for like literally the guts of 10% of that, which is kind of cool. It just shows you like the sheer amount of activity that's coming from that chain, and the fact that like people can avoid the whatever it is 24-hour withdrawal period over the canonical bridge by using something like a cross. So when there's like that activity actually happening there, and there's a product that can materially improve the user experience of bridging back and forth, like people use it. And like that's something like we very much saw with like Orbiter, even though we had like questions around like was it safe to kind of use that kind of bridge, like considering their lack of contracts. But what we can see is that like across is like eating directly into the likes of Orbiter's market share, which is really cool to see. Yeah, it's like you offer people like a good quality experience in a safe and cheap way, and people use it. So yeah, I guess that's like a really bullish thing I've seen about across over the last little while. We've also seen. Go on.
Is the brownish one? Is that Polygon?
I realize they're quite similar in color. The pinky one, the third from the top pinky section, that's zkSync. The one below that is like coming from Ethereum. So that's the one above that, the brownie one is Polygon.
Okay, cool. So that's like probably our lowest activity chain right now.
It just means that not a lot of funds are coming from Polygon. So like you can look at this like whether it's going to or from. So like the majority of the flows we have now are like people going from zkSync and Base to Arbitrum and Ethereum. That seems to be like the popular ways people are using our bridge.
So wait, hold on. So people are going to Arbitrum right now?
People are coming from zkSync and Base and heading towards Ethereum and Arbitrum. Yeah, that seems to be the popular kind of routes.
Oh, interesting. That's like super bullish for Arbitrum, I think.
Yeah, I'm wondering, are people kind of using that as like maybe a way to like farm some sort of thing? Like I'm guessing there's going to be massive speculation on zkSync, and if you guys remember in the like Arbitrum airdrop criteria, like you had to bridge a certain amount of funds to Arbitrum, and they had like different buckets. So it's like, did you like bridge 10,000, 50,000, 100,000? So I'm wondering, are people using a cross to get back to Arbitrum quickly and then bridging back over using their canonical bridge to maybe boost some of their numbers there? And then, yeah, so like that's going to drive some kind of inorganic volume, but still volume nonetheless that we can capture. So that could be one of those potential drivers of that. Again, you don't really know. It's kind of speculation, but a lot of the space is speculation. So why not speculate?
No, that's super cool. Can I ask a bit about Base? I'm a bit out of touch with everything Base related because that also launched while I was gone. But it seems like we're killing it over there.
Yeah, we're definitely. So like, let me just take a quick look here. So yeah, not a massive amount of funds going to Base, so somewhere between 5 and kind of 10% over the last little while, but a decent chunk coming from, so somewhere between 10 and 20%, coming from Base in terms of our flows. So like definite usage there, and like we're going toe to toe with some of the like big guys there. So like Stargate is deployed on Base, so is Hop. So like it's not like we were first to the party. But no, we're already starting to make a kind of dent in some of their market share, which is really good to see. But yeah, like we're really building out like a nice offering for all the hot chains that are in use across is really supporting. So like it kind of speaks to the fact that like Ryan has been lining up the roadmap very well to cover off the vast majority of where flows in the space actually want to go. And we're now supporting that. And it's like a major bit of props to the engineers as well for making that all happen because, yeah, as you heard, Dixie's had his head down over the last few weeks. But it's not like before that he didn't have his head down either. So it's just kind of like non-stop pushing out content. So it's just, major congrats to the guys for getting all that done and in the way they got it done. They're keeping us and the funds kind of safe, like making sure that like when we had those issues with zkSync that like users' funds were protected, while also getting us up and running on new chains. Like that's just the right way to go about doing things, and it's great to see.
Yeah, cool. Did you have another image that you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, slightly less bullish one. So like I've very much been of like the thinking that like flows. So remember, I kind of mentioned like a while back, you can kind of like have your finger on the pulse of the market by like watching the funds that are flowing through the bridging space. So this kind of image here gives you a good kind of idea that like we're starting to see a kind of like cooling off, which would align kind of with the price action that we've seen over the last little while, it being a little bit lackluster. And the fact that usually like in TradFi markets coming into like Q4, typically things start to slow down. Also, if you're like a subscriber to the like 4-year kind of cycle theory, we normally have like kind of like a big scare or a secondary scare before we come into the halvening. So like all of these things are kind of aligning with what we're seeing in terms of the flows coming through the bridging space. So like you can see like it's coming off it's coming off the like average of like between 50 and 60 million down to between.
So I'm gonna push back on this. I'm not even gonna let you finish, Dylan, before I say something. I think I call bullshit.
Okay, fair. Give me your points. Go on.
So if you look at the yellow bar, which is the across volume, I think that looks super healthy. Like I don't feel like that's actually decreasing. I feel like the decrease is being largely driven by shrinking of the bottom blue lines. To me, that just says that there's less farming activity.
Same thing.
That's my take on it. I don't believe in 4-year cycles. I just believe in across up.
Well, okay,
I like reading tea leaves every once in a while. Chase, you're gonna let me have something here.
I'll let you read them, but I'll tell you when I don't believe them.
Well, yeah, no, that's a very fair point from Chase. Like we have seen Stargate's market share materially decrease over the last little while, and the fact that you're seeing those blue bars down, like that can only mean either people are getting bored of the layer 0 airdrop farming, or there's just like generally less interest in that bridge. And the fact that they're not supporting some of the new chains like zkSync is like another reason why like their market share might be down as well.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Really like if there's, sorry, go ahead, Britt.
I was just going to say really quick for people looking at the image, can you orient us to like what this includes? So each bar is a different bridge, but is this all volume across all chains that across supports?
This is for tokens and chains that across supports. So like it's just looking at it through our kind of lens. I can have a look at all volume. I'll send in the whole picture now in a second. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay. No, I just wanted to help orient people to like what we were looking at here. But yeah, go ahead. Chase, you were actually going to say something.
I don't remember.
Okay. That's all good. I think this is a super bullish picture. I mean, I know the tea leaves are telling us that people are bored, but I see more yellow on the right than I do on the left, which is...
Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Thank you
for kind of saying what you said, Britt, because it reminded me. It's really interesting, and we've tried to do this before, but we haven't had the cycles to really do kind of like a very deep analysis on this. But one of the things that we've experimented with, trying to track quote-unquote non-farming bridge volume. Really hard thing to determine, obviously. And so one of the things, and I can't remember where Dylan and I first saw this, but he has kind of early drafts of this on our own side where the age of a wallet, and you only include it in the non-farming volume if the wallet's age is bigger than like 3 hours or something like that. And so one of the things you see is kind of this volume, of the blue volume in particular, would go away. So I don't know. Maybe there are tea leaves to read here, but I'd want to do it with a different data set that we had finished cleaning up.
What you can gather out of this, though, right? Like you talk about airdrop farming, and you can kind of see some areas where there's like a lot of orbiter action, and that has like diminished quite a lot as you get to the right. And then you can also see, like, I was like, what is this dark blue color over here on the left? And that was multi-chain before they sort of disappeared a little bit. So that's cool that you can like see that in this chart. I don't know. I think it's just super cool.
No,
what was this?
Cool.
What was this one big spike to the right?
On the second chart or the first one?
Oh, the first one. Sorry. Oh, wait.
Yeah, they probably just had a big volume day. Someone did a relatively large transfer, and that just like they could have done like one $20 million transfer, and that just leaves a spike in a day.
Also a big day for CCTP though, and like some of our other competitors. Everybody but us had a big day that day. Interesting.
Yeah. So regardless of what you choose to subscribe to, whether it's just natural order being restored and there being less airdrop farmers in the space, or is it spooky lines on charts and the emotional psychology of traders in the markets, stuff's a changing and we're keeping our fingers on the pulse of it. So yeah, keep coming back every week for more content. Please remember to like and subscribe to our channel, and smash that like button.
I really do feel like I have one of the best jobs because I literally get to wake up, like hash this out with Dylan.
It would be funny to see if people would subscribe to like a database podcast or like a humor / data podcast about the bridge space or something like that.
That's pretty much all I watch, except it's just macroeconomic podcasts. But like, yeah, they just go through like non-farm payrolls and unemployment figures and like Fed interest rate dot plots. But yeah, there is weirdos who actually do like that kind of stuff, and I'm one of them.
Yeah. You guys are funny. Well, Chase, he stole your thunder. What do you have to talk about? Tell me something good.
My water heater got replaced today.
I'm going to send in another picture in the chat and Chase can walk you guys through it because it's another indication of natural order being restored. This one is for aggregator volume share. All right, Chase, go for it.
No, that's all. I think Dylan hit really the main points I wanted to talk about. Like these volumes, especially looking at like the to and from zkSync. Like we have little scripts that we use, and sometimes I like leave them running in the background, and it like sends a little alert every time transaction happens. And the number of like bridge transactions, like zkSync to Arbitrum, or like from zkSync to other places, or to like these things are just really like going off in ways that they haven't in kind of a long time. So it's pretty fun to see.
Last image that you just shared, though, Dylan, is pretty cool. It's pretty bullish. What are the parameters here? What does this include?
So we basically saw like almost like a distortion in the aggregator volume share that we would normally see. So like we all know that like cross ranks really highly on aggregators. Like it's nearly always like the cheapest and fastest to use. So like when we saw a big spike up in like Stargate's share of aggregators, we were kind of confused why that might be the case. But then we figured out that Socket or Bungie were doing an OP rebate for like bridges to and from optimism. So savvy airdrop farmers know that if you're getting a rebate, it means you can do your already somewhat expensive farming activity even cheaper. So it made sense for them to actually continue to farm the routes or continue to farm the Stargate or Layer 0 airdrop, but actually do it through the aggregator in order to get the OP rebate. So basically just subsidized their farming activities. Anyway, that led to like 2 or 3 week kind of distortion in their market or aggregator volume share. But once those rebates went away, we kind of saw across going back to where it was previously. So it just kind of shows you that like there's a lot of levers that can be pulled or like tweaks that can be made to like incentivize different bits and bobs in behavior, and without the kind of context as to why things are happening, it's very easy to see like just a chart like that and kind of misread why things are actually happening the way they are. Like it's a complicated space, but hopefully the kind of stuff that we can kind of share every once in a while will demystify bits and bobs of it. Anyway, regards to the bridge space, can't help you with the rest of the market. That stuff's unknowable.
Yeah. Cool chart though. Also very bullish. Like I think all of this is quite bullish. I wanted to ask, who is this? Who is the green line on this chart? The one that all the way to the left started up really high and just like goes straight down.
Yeah, that's actually Seller or cBridge. They seem to have instituted some form of geo-blocking over the last little while for U.S. citizens. More than just U.S. citizens. But if you go on to like here, I'll send in the link so you guys can see it from a third-party source. I'm not just lying. Yeah, have a look at this. Because it basically just looks like a sad song. But yeah, they just seem to have dwindled off into non-existence over the last little while. So yeah, the volumes associated with them have come down really, really materially. And like back when I started, like whatever it was, 9-ish months ago, cBridge were like they were like a decent competitor to us. Like we'd regularly be like trying to jump ahead of them, and there would be days when they were beating us. To kind of see them go into irrelevance alongside multi-chain over the last 9 months just shows you the sheer amount of change the space can happen in such a short period of time.
Kind of sad. Maybe just as like I didn't have any reason to dislike them.
No, yeah, it's kind of concerning when you think like what could possibly like cause that to happen. But anyway.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Well, cool. Thanks for the charts. That was super cool. Speaking of aggregators,
to leave it on a happy note, we're coming up on 2.5 billion bridged on a cross. So yay, that's the happy note. All right, I'm gonna shut up now.
Oh, that is a happy note. We should take a poll on when we'll get there. Get to 2.5 billion. Or is that like happening tomorrow? Like, are we quickly approaching it, or is it like a while out?
I actually don't know. It's probably days to weeks.
Oh, okay. Across is also approaching 2 years old, says Dixie. When did we launch? I forget. It was like October something.
November 2021.
No, but okay, so November what? Do you know?
Somewhere between 1 and 30.
Oh, okay, obviously.
I feel like the 17th is sticking out in my mind, but I don't have a reason for thinking that.
Sure. I also wanted to just get some team thoughts on the aggregator news in the space recently. I'm of the idea that all aggregator news is good news because that means aggregator volume goes up, but there was some cool stuff going on, right? Like Socket had a fundraise, and Li-Fi, what did they do? They had like a credit card deal or something, right? With MasterCard? No? Nobody?
I think I saw Clayton mentioning that. I'm not sure on the actual specifics of it, but I suppose like we're seeing Visa and MasterCard both get interested in partnering with projects in the space. So like they're realizing that if they don't kind of take action quickly enough, they're going to become irrelevant quickly. But no, it's cool to see them partnering up with projects that we're also kind of bullish on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think one thing also that Li-Fi did was when we actually launched on zkSync, we didn't have support from Socket, Bungie, and Li-Fi also weren't on zkSync at all. And so in the couple of weeks after, Socket were really, really fast to implement support, and they were ready on the spot when we launched on base as well. And Li-Fi also have moved out to zkSync. So I think we would definitely be seeing a boost in the numbers, like a volume bridge basically ever since they did that. And both of those teams are just great to work with. Like they're always responsive, and sometimes they kind of detect things and notify us. And yeah, we have a really good working relationship with both of them, which is really, really nice.
Totally agree. Like good news for the aggregators is definitely good news for us. So congrats to them for those partnerships that they both have. Well, cool. I wish that I had more of an update to provide on the community side. I'm still kind of getting my feet under me from being gone, but the main thing I wanted to encourage was the Galaxy Quest. So if anybody here hasn't started it, go check it out. There's a link in our announcements where you can find all of the details on that. And we don't have a special guest today, in case I didn't say that at the start of the call. So I think we've made it through the news from across today. And yeah, as Dylan said, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, turn on notifications so that you always find out when a new video is released. Okay, cool. Anything to wrap it up, guys? Or shall we call it a day? I'm gonna take silence as golden. Cool. Well, cheers, everybody. Thank you to the folks who always join me on stage. It's good to be back. It's good to talk to you guys. Super bullish on Across. Go team. And have a good rest of your week, everyone.